Hey there, Orchid Zeta here, and welcome back to more Let's Play Pokémon Sword. In the last episode, we went through Cave, and this episode, we're going this way. I don't got much else to say. We're just gonna kind of keep going in on in and doing stuff. Doing everything. You can get free berries this way. And eventually we shake it so much that we get a squirrel! Hooray! What do I have to say? Anything? I just finally finished recording Tori's Panic Back, and I am a little wary and cautious about recording stuff now, because for the first time ever, I've had an Elgato problem where suddenly... I don't understand how it happened, but the audio of the game just didn't exist. I don't know why, I don't know how. Like... It's an HDMI cable is the thing. It's not like the audio and video are separate. Okay. So if you get a Pokemon, I guess that means it's all gone. Okay. I didn't know that much about that, but whatever. So yeah, I don't understand how there was no game audio, but now I'm keeping a very close eye on my Elgato program to see what the game audio says about if there's actual things are coming up, and I don't know. Anyways, Galarian Meowth exists in here, and I'm not entirely sure why Meowth got two separate forms for both Alola and Galar. I guess they just really like Meowth, which is fine enough. But I do not like the Galarian design of Meowth because it's just kind of gross to me. Like, the big long beard. I don't know. Just something about it rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why he's fighting. I'm not really paying close attention, is the thing. But yeah, I don't like. It's funny because like I'm going into this Let's Play genuinely 100% actively trying to be decently positive about things in the game, and yet it feels very easy to come up with like negative, like, oh, I don't like this. And it's unfortunate, but oh well. Yeah, I don't care for Galarian Meowth. It doesn't rub me nearly as long of a way as like Galarian Zigzagoon does, which I'm not editing these videos yet, but it does strike me as this thing of like. It strikes me as this weird thing of like, huh. I wonder, like, did I actually get, like, my point across as to what the issue I have is with, like, the sort of retconny nature of the game lore basically trying to be, hey, by the way, the Hoenn Zigzagoon is not the original Zigzagoon, it's the secondary Zigzagoon, and the Zigzagoon from Galar is what Zigzagoon actually look like normally in the wild, or whatever. That's basically the lore that they gave it, and it doesn't actually really change Hoenn Zigzagoon in any capacity. It's more just like an emotional state sort of deal, I don't know. Regardless, it doesn't sit right with me. Anyway, we're getting chased by a whole bunch of Pokemon, and here we have Galarian Meowth. It has a slight muzzle? From what it just did that... That looked wrong to me. I feel like the problem with Galarian Meowth... The problem I have with it isn't necessarily the fact that it has a beard like this. I think it's the art style. Because it, instead of looking like a beard, it just looks like the face is just elongated. And I think that's like my actual issue with it. Not necessarily the design or the idea of a cat with a beard, but just the fact of like the way it's so cartoonishly depicted and like doesn't even like have much of a form of like a chin at all. It just looks gross to me because it looks like it's flesh. And I think that's what the problem I have with it is. It's like purely an art style thing. Now that I'm looking at it. I guess it does have a tiny bit of a chin when you look at it from that perspective. The lighting definitely gave it something there. But you look at it from the front and it's just like, ew. But yeah, it's not like the color scheme is bad. I like the dark gray and the black. That looks neat. And while I'm a little indifferent towards like the kooky grin, like compared to like original Meowth, which feels a little less cartoony like it. That, I don't know. In the end, Pokemon is a cartoon series, but it's kind of like a Decidueye's Feathers sort of deal. Where it's like, it can look okay on an initial glance, maybe, or if you like really buy into it, but the moment you like really stop and think about what's actually physically depicted, it's like, why does Decidueye's wings look like that? It's just this thing of like, sometimes the art style genuinely doesn't do these Pokemon much favor. And honestly, I wonder how much of that is to blame for like, because like it's very clear what the Pokemon art style is at this point in time. So it kind of raises this question of like, how much is to blame for like the designers actually like choosing to go through with such a design, regardless of whether it fits the art style or not. Maybe it's just the way, it's just the people making Pokemon think about these things differently than I do, and there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. Ever think about that, Ulti? All I can really say is my personal preference, and my personal preference is to dislike Galarian Meow. I think that that is okay, because I'm allowed to have opinions, and so are you. Anyways, I'm gonna go kill this Eevee person real quick. Never mind, we're not gonna cut it out, because you have a Milcery. Or Milcery. I don't know, it's... Because, like, it looks like it's Milcery, but isn't it milk? It's literally a cream Pokemon. It's a Pokemon made of cream. Milk, so, like, I don't know. Like, the name... I don't know. Whatever, I'm gonna Flame Charge it. I am, once again, indifferent to this Pokemon. It's fine. I've never caught one before, so I will have to catch one soon. So... that's a thing. I should actually say that I have since the first session, I have checked my Pokemon home to see what Pokemon I actually need from Galar, because I was just going off of memory before. Now I'm still going off of memory, but it's a memory that's like a little more like aware of things. Also, Rory evolved without me ever sending him out. Congratulations. Smart enough to use tools in battle, these Pokemon have been seen picking up rocks and flinging them to, or using rope to wrap up enemies. Neato. What? Where did you come from? I was out of the grass and I pressed A on the thing. So, one of the things that I have since learned is actually I need another one of you. I think about it. I do not have Yamper or Bolton, which is its evolution. And since I'm in the process of evolving a guy to be close to to become Bolton, to evolve, I'll catch one for the box right now. I don't need the rocks, the roly-poly. I don't need them at all, so first thing I get, I can replace in the bot. Oh, I was gonna say, you fish. Yeah, because see, the thing is, I didn't catch much on my initial Galar playthrough. The thing that's throwing me off is... Also, there's not a whole ton of Pokemon from Galar in Pokemon Go. There's a couple of them, which is why I'm not going for Galarian Meowth or its evolution, because it does have a unique evolution. And I have them already, thanks to Pokemon Go. But the real thing is, there was a couple... When I was doing my Paldea playthrough, my personal playthrough of Pokemon Scarlet, I did catch a whole bunch of Galar Pokemon that I didn't have before. And so that's kind of thrown me off of, like, I don't really remember which ones are which. So, turns out I do, in fact, have all of the evolutionary line of the rocks. So, ain't that nice? She's downhearted because she lost, but her icon was just nothing but smiles. That just feels weird to me. How come only boys get to be Pikachu, but only girls get to be Eevee? In this dress up in a onesie lifestyle. And this item is Pin Missile. Neato. Alright. Let's get out of here. I think I've seen all I want to see. Bah! Hi. Wooloo crashed into you and stopped. We are dead now. Hello, Mr. Man. I'm a gym challenger. He saw me, and I saw him. He's Milo. He's a grass-type gym leader. And that's why he wears green. I wear green because green's cool. That's all I got. Ah. He's number 831. I wonder if that's a reference to, like, some sort of Pokemon. Future Ulti, what Pokemon number is 831? Wait, hold on. There's something shiny over here. X accuracy, it's neat. Alright. Hi, Hop. Yeah, I can see that. There's a big stadium there. Sonia was looking for me. He's on What's-Her-Face Hill. Look at the map. And now there's a dog. The dog will show me the way. Okay. I probably was a little mean towards Hop in the first few episodes. I think I should... There's, like... The thing about Hop is, I don't think he's a particularly great character, but I do respect a little bit more of, like, the kind of arc they tried to give him. I just, like, for what he is, he works, and I think he's better than Hao in that regard. The issue that I have is just that, like, while he's good for what he is, I just don't necessarily think that what he is was the best idea. And I can get into that later. For, like, why I think that. Because I do have reasons for it. Like, he has an arc, he has a character arc, he's fun enough. Again, like, I do think, like, despite my joke about, like, how he's not, that he's just How again, like, like, number one, that's not necessarily true just because they're both, because they're superficially similar and use the exact same animations for some stuff, and because they have upbeat, cheerful demeanors, doesn't mean they're the exact same character. It's just kind of, to be honest, it's kind of more so funny that they are so very similar in a lot of ways that makes it easy to compare them. But in regards to just like, he is a better character than How, I think, because How is a little just too one note and doesn't really. How doesn't have an arc is the thing. Hop does, so like that just kind of makes Hop better by default. I just think that I don't think it works super well for a Pokemon game, is my standpoint. But I know other people like him, and they are welcome to like him. And I don't hate him, but I like making fun of stuff. It's kind of more so my gag. I don't know. I'm trying to be positive towards this game where I can and not be overly negative, like basically 99% of people when it comes to this game. They just want to be negative, and it's like, I want to be fair. If that means being negative, it means being negative. It means being positive, it means being positive. It can be either. I don't have to just be negative because everybody else is. I don't want to follow the crowd. I want to be my own person. I am not a sheep. I am not a Wooloo. I am a Salandit. I had you come because I wanted to hear what you thought. But that geoglyph, what do you think of it? Well, these are my two answers, so I guess these are what I have to say. But it makes me think of Dynamax more because it's a big thing. Seems likely. Certainly looks like a gigantic Pokemon. Suppose people 3,000 years ago could have just imagined this, but it looks too similar to Dynamax. It can't just be coincidence. A long time ago, a great black storm covered the Galar region. Giant Pokemon ran rampant. But what was that black storm they called the Darkest Day? What connection does it have to Dynamax? See, when you look at this animation from this perspective, it looks fine. Why is it so bad from another angle? Whatever. Guess I'm the lucky lady who'll be looking into that. Grandeur gives me a lot to do. And you'll give me this useless thing. It's basically just... It doesn't really do anything. League cards are just... They're a neat little thing for online, I guess, and the league cards are, like... Because I can look at them and show you what they are about. Like, they're, it's like... I know what it's about. It's like... You know, baseball, it's like baseball cards, basically. And I think that's a neat idea. I think that, I do think that these are a neat idea. I think it's more so like the way you get them feels a little silly, I guess. But like, that's what they're about, because like, this whole thing is, the whole gimmick of the game is like trying to be like, it's a sporting event. Like, so things are like a little more sporty, and that's just a thing. So it's like, it makes sense, it works, it's... I just don't care about it in terms of... It's like the badge polishing mechanic of Gen 4, or like some of the picture stuff you could do in Gen 7. Like, I don't dislike that it exists, and it's honestly less obtrusive than some of those other ones. But in regards to, like... Do I truly care about it? Myself? No, not really. I'm probably not going to do that much with it. But I don't hate that it's here. It's more so just like, oh, we're taking 5 seconds to be like, here, have a league card. It's like, okay, sure. The grass gym badge, I got it in one try. Congratulations, Hop. Goodbye. Alright, it's time to tackle our first gym. Hello. Thank you, friend. Alright, hi. We have to complete each gym mission, defeat every gym leader, and gather 8 gym badges. Got it. So, gym missions in this game are really dumb, if you ask me. Like, I respect that they're trying to, like, make the gyms feel a little less samey. And over time, think, like, gyms got a little more gimmicky, little more complicated than just kind of, like, going around in a room and fighting a bunch of trainers. I respect the idea of trying to make them feel a little more different. The way Gen 8 does it, though, is that, like, half of them are just completely irrelevant minigames. Gen 9's even worse about it. And, like, I understand why they're trying to make it a little less, like, you just battling things. But at the same time, like, it just doesn't really have any relevance. It's just, like, it feels like time wasters. For example, in this game, instead of fighting anything for the gym challenge, we basically do goat herding. We just stand around and make the Wooloo run away from us into the goal. And, like, that's it. That's all we do. Like, this is the gym challenge. And it's like, even if it's the first one, it's like, yeah, okay, it's the first one. Sure, fine. First one. It's allowed to be a little easy. But at the same time, it's like, really, what's the point? Hell, even in universe, what is the actual point of this, you know? I don't know, at least there's one gym challenger here. So, like, we'll have somebody to fight. But I don't hate, like, the concept of, like, something a little more involved and somewhat gimmicky to make the gym fight a little more interesting. But to make a gym a little more interesting than just a straight line. But this is also just a straight line. In this particular instance. And some of the gym challenges are fine in this game. I remember the rock one is fine. I think the water one was fine. I don't remember some of the others. The fire ones, I like the fire one. I remember liking the fire one. I'm gonna go fight these guys. Or just this guy. Okay, I beat him. Now we have more Yampers to deal with. At least this one here has, like, some semblance of, like, timing? Hi. Why do you look like you need sleep? There's an easy joke to make here with your expression, considering we're in the grass type gym. But I always find those kind of jokes are really low-hanging fruit. Just like Found Sweet. You know, when you send out this Oddish here, I gotta ask, were the tips of Oddish's leaves always a lighter green? Or is that a recent thing? Because I feel like if I were to just say what an Oddish looked like, I would never have, I would just like... Like, the leaf tips wouldn't be a thing. Like, I only noticed that very recently in, like, Pokemon Go things. And so it just surprises me, because I'm like, huh. Why? When did that happen? Was it always like that? Or am I just dumb? I don't know. A technically unnecessary evolution, but I'll get it nonetheless. Rawr. It's slightly lizardy now. And it becomes even more lizardy when it evolves into Colossal. Sure. Oh. Fighting her brings the Yampers to his side. Okay, so there's technically a benefit. If you're not good enough to avoid the Yampers, you fight the trainer and they stop running around wildly, I guess. Which I suppose that's neat. And there we go, that's the gym challenge. That's the entirety of what we had to do. And, like, again, for me, it's just, like, I think the thing for me is that, like, there's a lot of space for, like, developmental focus, I guess, is the point for me. And so, like, them taking the time to program in, like, little silly mini-games like that, that, to me, feels like an unnecessary, like, an unnecessary divestment that they didn't need to do, especially when, like these games are not, there's definitely a feeling of them being rushed, and Scarlet and Violet has that even spades in comparison, even though I like Scarlet and Violet more. Just try to keep it challenging, is just walking forward, sure. You'll have to Dynamax your Pokemon if you want to win. Ooh, I can finally talk about why I don't like that mechanic. Awesome, because I also made fun of Dynamaxing recently. But yeah, before we get to that, since we're going to be fighting Milo here in the middle of this stadium, which, before I get into all the negatives, let's be positive about things. Again, I really do like that they, like, really lean in on, like, the sporting angle and, like, watching it's a spectator sport thing. Like, I think that's a really cool thing. And I do quite like that a lot. Anyways. So, with the mini-games, it just makes me feel like, yeah, sure, I guess they're inoffensive at worst. Maybe some of them might feel like a little bit of a time waster, but, like, in the end, like, they don't hinder the experience too much. But then I think about, like, they all took time to program, and, like, that time could have been spent elsewhere. Especially on games that, like, could use, like, better optimization of certain things like that. I don't know. In the end, there's just frustrating elements for me. Also, you only have 2 Pokemon, so this is your last Pokemon, so that means I'm gonna have to start talking immediately about what I don't like about Dynamax. The thing about Dynamax is, I don't hate the idea of Dynamax in a general sense. I think that as far as gimmicks go, because, like, the previous generations had Mega Evolutions, and then Z-moves, and now we have Dynamaxing. And Dynamaxing, unlike the other two, is like an active replacement. Unlike before, there is no Z-moves now, there are no Mega Evolutions in this game, it's just Dynamax, and I guess Gigantamax, which is an ultimate form of Dynamax. It's whatever. I hate Gigantamax. I don't think there's anything good about Gigantamax, but Dynamax, I think, is inherently fine, to an extent. The Pokemon turns big, its health increases in half, its health doubles, and, like, all of its moves become, like, You know how when you had a Z move, it would be like, oh, if it's a fire type move, it becomes the fire type Z move, and stuff like that. That kind of happens with all of the Pokemon's moves. So like if you got multiple fire type moves, they become like fire type max moves here. Or like if I were a Dynamax, I would get like 2 fire type Dynamax moves, a normal max move, and a fighting type max move. It is what it is. I think Dynamax is fine, because it's a gimmick that lasts for 3 turns and makes you super strong for those 3 turns, and I think that is totally fine. I hate Dynamax because it just turns every single gym leader fight into the most mundane, boring, predictable-ass shit imaginable, and I hate it. Because they never do anything differently with Dynamax other than the fact that whenever a gym leader throws out their last Pokemon, they always automatically Dynamax, and that's the only time they ever do it. There's no strategy involved, and I just think it's boring, and repetitive, and incredibly uninspired. Like, I understand them starting like that, to get you used to the idea of Dynamax, but when the very last trainer of the game does this exact same formula, it's just stupid and boring. And I really, really don't like that. I also personally like the idea of trying to fight Dynamax Pokemon without Dynamaxing myself, which is why I'm not doing it. And it's why I did the first time around, and I don't mind it. Like, to me, it's fine. It doesn't really... Like, I could have Dynamaxed at any point that I wanted to. And it's fine. Really, that's my stance on that matter. Don't need to Dynamax myself, and I will probably try to use it personally as infrequently as I can in terms of at least, like, gym leader fights, which is most of the time you're going to see it, because you can't Dynamax in normal situations. You have to Dynamax in specific parts of the game that allow you to do so. And I don't think that's a problem either. I think that's totally fine. So for me, it's just, I really, really hate the formulaic nature of how it got added to the game. Because I thought Dynamax was fine at first when I played the game, and then it just started getting repetitive every single time. Like, you have, a gym leader has 2 to 4 Pokemon on their team, and that last Pokemon that they send out is always the one they Dynamax, and they always do it first for 3 turns, and it's just like, oh my god, do something different! Do something interesting! Like, that's what really bothers me, is that, like, they have an interesting gimmick, and they make it as uninteresting as possible. They do the same thing in Gen 9, too, with Terastallization, where every single gym in that game has a because Terastallization in Gen 9 is a thing where you take a Pokemon and you change it to another type. And, you know, so you got all these gym leaders that are type-based. And so there's interesting things you could do with that. But then, when it comes to Gen 9, like, you have the Bug-type gym, and it's like, suddenly the gym leader throws out a Pokemon that's not a Bug-type, and it's like, oh, something interesting. And then they just turn it into a Bug-type, and it still turns into, oh, do you know type matchups? Like, there's, like, one Terastallization in that entire game that I think is remotely interesting. And it's when the Electric-type gym leader turns a Pokemon with Levitate into an Electric-type, thus making it, like, Electros, where they don't have any weaknesses, because Electric-type Pokemon are only weak to ground, and so and Levitate makes you immune to ground, so like, that's the one interesting thing they ever do with Terastallization. And that really pisses me off. That's like, I understand it, they want to make things appealing for kids, but, like, that didn't stop them in the previous games, in, like, the earlier generations, from doing interesting things with some of their gyms. Like, the early Johto gyms are honestly really good. Like, I like the Bugsy gym and the Whitney gym and the Morty gym. Like, they have, like, engaging fights with them, due to, like, the moves that they have. And, like, everything about them. Gen 1 was kind of basic, sure. But even then, like, I don't know. And then, like, Gen 3 had, like, interesting fights like Norman Flannery's Torkoal with the white herb. Tate and Liza, the first double gym battle in general, and especially in Emerald, that's fantastic. I don't know, it bothers me that, like, and then even, like, other ones, like Gen 5 and, like, the Dragon-type gym, that, like, bothered me so much in the moment, but, like, when I got to, and then they used Dragon Tail on me, and, like, ruined my, like, setup strategy, and, like, that was, like, really funny, looking back on it. It's just, like, I like it when, like, the games don't necessarily, like, hold your hand the entire way. Again, I get it early on. I think it's fine early on. Did I get a heal up, or no? I did, okay, cool, thanks. That just saves time, sure. I'll take it. But, like, inherently, like, I understand where the appeal comes from, like, keeping things somewhat, like, accessible. There's an accessibility thing there, and I get that. I really do. But, holy shit. I'm gonna double kick you. I have never used you yet, Rory, so what do you do? Dark. Huh. Okay. Well, it's a Helioptile, it's not a Heliolisk. And I'm middle evolution, so I can probably survive one thing. So I'll do a Home Gloss, sure. Okay, the Helioptile died anyway. I don't need to strategize that much, apparently. Yeah, I get it. You want to make Pokemon accessible to kids. You want to make Pokemon accessible in general. I get it. I'm not going to fault, like, the games for being easier in the beginning. It just bothers... Oh, you have charge. It just bothers me that, like, even once the games get going, they don't really up the ante in any capacity. That, to me, feels disappointing. And so that's where the frustration for me lies. Alright, Rory, good job. You didn't do anything. But hey, you got sent out for once, so that's a positive. Yeah, that's really what just bothers me. It's like, it's a thing that bothers me with a lot of Pokemon in general, where it's like, you have a good idea, you have a good setup, and then it just doesn't feel like it's really truly taking good advantage of the setup that it has. So, that's where my disappointment lies, personally. Anyways, I probably should end the episode. So... So I've been for about 40 minutes or so. I guess I can, like, fight this guy. I'll fight this guy then in the episode. Cook Stewart. Gonna bash your head in with a late. Ooh, Applin. This is useful, actually. Because Applin is a Pokemon I need for my living dex. So I don't actually know where you get it in this game. But now that I've seen one, I can use the Pokédex feature and find out where it is. Ain't that handy dandy? Yeah, I know, you're astonishing. You're astonishing. You only got one Pokemon. I had to look at the capture. I was just kind of curious, like, is this the only thing I have to fight? The answer is yes. Okay. No, you're a cook named Stuart. I feel like there's like a rat joke here because like Remy, Stuart Little, but I don't really know how to like tie that in together to make it a coherent joke, you know? Anyways, Pokédex. Applin. The X button. Habitat. These areas. This is where I am right now. Yes. Okay, so Applin's just here. Alright, cool. Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode for when I catch an Applin somewhere. So, yeah. See you guys then.